What is up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Pete Box video series. In today's episode, we are going to be taking a look at the valuation of the Magnificent Seven stocks against BTC. We're going to do today's analysis on a large time frame on the monthly candles because I think that it could give us a hint on what is going on regarding Bitcoin cyclical moves and having somewhat of an edge on when BTC might be going parabolic. Maybe on some more time down the road, we could do another kind of analysis, a little bit of a weekly time frame or daily time frame. But today we will be focusing on the monthly, since I think is the most insightful time frame for a cyclical perspective for Bitcoin's price action. We'll be starting with Nvidia because Nvidia has been one of the greatest performers for the past year, and also because it has given in the past great indicators about a potential run on BTC. We have here Nvidia with a massive Gartley harmonic. No, it's a cipher harmonic here, a massive bullish cipher harmonic that started on March 2021 and potentially topped last month in July. If this pattern actually gets confirmed, if it actually draws itself, you would see the price action of Nvidia against BTC at around the 70k SAT valuation on Nvidia against BTC here at around the D point, right around 2026. So what does it mean, this structure here? It means that basically you've completed an ABC and potentially you're going for the D wave down here with a correction on Nvidia against BTC with a 78% retrace from lows to highs on this massive structure. Although I do have to be clear that this structure has not been confirmed yet. If you take out the C point here at around 240k sats, then you invalidate the structure and it could just continue to go up. But as for now, I look how it's looking, and I think it has good chances of playing out. And actually, if you don't confirm this bullish engulfing candle on the monthly, which will be confirmed in 15 more days, then you could start to lose the positive momentum here. And if that happens, you would get a bearish divergence on a really high time frame on the monthly, which is way more reliable than a daily or weekly candle. Patterns have better chances of playing out, and potentially a buyer's exhaustion on the oscillators could also have better possibilities of playing out rather than other time frames. Okay, so have that in mind for Nvidia against BTC, a massive cipher harmonic with a potential bearish divergence being cooked under the hood. I'll be giving you guys an update on the monthly close candle, so we can see if it actually got confirmed or if it got invalidated with a price action above the C point. But I think it's starting to look really well for Nvidia BTC pullback here on a 78% retracement from X to C point. And also I want to point out that every time that Nvidia against BTC has topped, it has led to a strong rally on Bitcoin. For example, if we go to the last time that Nvidia against BTC topped, it was on November 2020. We all know what happened from October going on in 2020. BTC ran from around 13k all the way to 64k on this bottom here on April 2021. We can also appreciate here on April 2019, BTC had a massive parabolic run from around the lows of a 4k all the way up to almost 14k on a bear market rally. And also here on September to October 2017, it was a peak bull run mania on BTC going parabolic every day on a run from basically 7k to 20k. So as you can appreciate, it has large implication on seeing a top on a monthly time frame for Nvidia against BTC, which could imply that BTC will start finally its parabolic run. And we'll have to wait to see if this monthly candle actually gets an engulfing candle and if we take out point C and continue higher. Otherwise, I think that this is a great spot to speculate that maybe NVIDIA BTC is going to roll over and is going to go to the pattern completion zone of this massive bullish cipher, on where you might get somewhat of a reaction and maybe a type 2 return and then bounce, or we'll see by then. But as for now, I like this structure and how it's looking. Moving on, we have Tesla against BTC. Tesla against BTC doesn't have quite the structure or edge like NVIDIA does, but you just did a lower low regarding this low here, and you have a lower high on the chart. So high time frame, this looks somewhat bearish, because in here you had a higher low and a higher high, then another higher high, then potentially a higher low regarding this low, but then this was ultimately the truth in Tesla against BTC. You had this shoulder here, this lower high regarding this high, and then you ultimately put a lower low on the chart, confirming that that you might be downtrending on a monthly time frame. And you're also right against resistance here. If you can zoom in, and you see that you had a bearish retest on July to the 380 to 370k SAT valuation here. This is historic inflection point. It's been regarded both as resistance and support. You sold off going into that level last month, and now you're printing a red month down 4%. You're continuing to print negative momentum in the MACD histogram, and you are around the 40-point level on the RSI, which is neutral. But if you fall below the 39-point level, then you start to enter bearish control zone on a large time frame for Tesla against BTC. So that would imply that sellers would be in control of Tesla against BTC. So just a downtrend on a really large time frame for Tesla against BTC. Amazon against BTC, it's a different story that's being told here, because you're catching a bounce out of an historic inflection point here. You can see the support was manufactured on March 2021, was regarded as support November 2021, and now you've been holding support here since March, since at around 6 months, that you have not been able to break down or either get a strong bounce out of this level. But you're printing a bullish divergence here from this lows. You see you have equal lows here, somewhat of a confirmation low here regarding this bottom, and you're seeing seller's exhaustion on the oscillator on the MACD histogram. You'll see that this was way higher and bigger negative momentum regarding the momentum that we've seen since early this year, and you can appreciate that it's on the same price range with lower seller momentum. So that could imply maybe a reversal here. If you wanted to, for example, position yourself on Amazon against BTC, you could take a long here, put the stop loss below the lows here at around down here, and ride the long all the way up to 560,000 sats. Well, there's a big inflection point, and for a second target all the way to 680,000 sat valuation on Amazon. So that's interesting. I do have to point out that you've been downtrending since this complacency shoulder in August of 2020. Ultimately, it rolled over on October 2020, but you do have a bullish edge here on the oscillators. You're seeing seller's exhaustion and a critical inflection point. So maybe it plays out, or maybe continues to downtrend. And I do want to point out that the most times that a support is tested, then the bigger the odds are of not holding. So if you get somewhat of a small rally and then you come back down again to this 260k SAT value here, then you have greater chances of it not holding regarding this low from here. Okay, right on. Let's go take a look at Meta against BTC. Meta against BTC doesn't have any kind of divergence. You actually have bullish confluence here regarding this the small negative momentum here, and you do have a higher low. You have both higher lows on the oscillators, RSI, MACD histogram, and a higher low on price, which is a bullish convergence as for now. But you're ranging between two inflection points here at the bottom at 460k sats, and the top here at 46k sats, and the top at 123k sats are the two inflection points from here. So you're somewhat in the middle of La La Land regarding these 2 points. If I go for a fib extension, you're around the 0.5, almost 50% retracement from lows to highs. So not much of an edge here. In all honesty, there's nothing that you can do for positioning, but you're creating a first higher low for a long time, because this was downtrending. You have this lower high regarding this high. This was a lower high regarding this high, and now a massive lower low, and then another lower high regarding this one. But you're doing a higher low here if you're able to hold. So maybe market structure is changing to the upside, into an uptrend. You're at the 51 point level on the RSI, so that's neutral for the RSI, but you're printing a strong positive momentum bar on the MACD histogram for the August month. Actually, the highest momentum since March of this year on Meta against BTC, and you're up 22% on this monthly candle. So yeah, as you can appreciate, dear beloved audience, this dear Petebox followers, by the way, if you're enjoying this content, please leave me a thumbs up, turn on notifications, and subscribe. I really appreciate all that you guys do with my channel. So this chart right here looks better than a lot of other charts in my opinion, because you have a higher low and potentially bullish convergence. So maybe they'll run it up to 123k sats, and if you're able to break the resistance, then the next one will be 154k sat value for Meta BTC. Apple BTC, look at this, chat. What a massive range. You're also been downtrending because you have a lower high regarding this high here, but you do have somewhat of an equal low here, maybe a higher low, slightly higher low on the monthly time frame. You don't have any kind of divergence on the oscillators. You do have bullish confluence here on the MACD histogram, but on the RSI, you could argue that there might be a hidden bullish divergence here on the MACD. On the RSI. But you're downtrending, and where you want to see hidden bullish divergences are on uptrends, because it's a continuation divergence. So it's not as strong as a classic divergence, if you ask me. You're currently up 10% on the monthly, and you're just testing this resistance at the 390k value area here. This is a strong inflection point that's been regarded both as support and as resistance in the past. You actually sold off into it last month, and if you're able to break out of that range, then 730k sats are the next target for Apple BTC. You're pretty neutral on the RSI. You're at the 43 point level, and you're losing negative momentum on the MACD. So yeah, I think that the most insightful chart so far has been the NVIDIA against BTC, because you can see whenever NVIDIA tops against BTC, you get a large move on Bitcoin. And it hasn't been quite the same on Apple. You do have that October 2020 move, which was pretty strong. But for example, here on 2023, you had this large move in BTC, but both Apple and BTC run to the upside. So I think NVIDIA it's a better chart for guessing tops and bottoms on BTC. Microsoft against BTC looks pretty similar to what Meta against BTC did, because you also have a higher low here. So you might be breaking bearish structure. You're also downtrending, lower lows and lower highs. You're up 10% on the day. Decent volume down here. It's been coming down a little bit, but that makes sense because you've been pulling back. You've been correcting out of this impulse in 2022 in the bear market, and you're losing negative momentum on the MACD histogram. You're at the 43-point level on the RSI, and look at this chart. You might have somewhat of a structure here on the RSI. You might have an inverse head and shoulders on the RSI, which is a reversion or a reversal pattern that you might be really close to breaking out, or maybe you can make the case that you already broke out. So this could imply that the RSI is going into a higher spot, higher levels, maybe about 50. Let's see if we can measure it on the RSI. So the measure move target for this inverse head and shoulders on the RSI on the monthly will be at around the 49 to 50 point level on the RSI, so still neutral. You will want to see above 60, which has gone only once in 2018 on the bear market of BTC. You saw the RSI above 60, which is the bullish control zone for Microsoft against BTC. So interesting development on Microsoft against BTC. And the last one of the Magnificent Seven is Alphabet. It's Google against BTC. Let's see if we have something. So you do have a higher low here too. There's at around 3 or 4 stocks that have this higher low. Some of them have an equal low. This one is a higher low. So maybe you're putting a higher low like you did here, potentially breaking market structure to the upside because you've been downtrending ever since you put on this high, which was actually an equal high here, like a double top from September 2017 to January of 2019. You've been downtrending ever since, lower lows and lower highs, and now for the first time, Chad, you do have a potential here confirmation low or somewhat of a higher low double bottom. And let me see if we have an harmonic here. So you might have a bullish bat. So you're a little bit overextended to the downside. Hopefully this was an 886, like around here. You could argue that you have a bullish bat here, bullish harmonic completed, and maybe you'll go for a retest of the lows, like a type 2 return. If you actually get this and get somewhat of a reaction, then this is a way stronger setup. This is like somewhat of a TA dream. Plus, if you get somewhat of a bullish divergence also on this drop here, if you get it, then it's a really good setup for going long, where you have minimum downside risk and maximum upside, going for these targets here, these inflection points at around the 330k sats and the 400k sat value areas, and then you don't have much price action to the upside. I mean, this is pretty much up and down territory, for the exception of just this high here, which will be the first time that you could argue that could be regarded as resistance right there. But I think that if you overcome this resistance here, then I think you'll be somewhat going strong. And I'll finish up the video with an analysis on BTC. I think I'll do the weekly time frame for you guys, so you can guys stay up to date. So you can see the weekly here. You've been downtrending because you have lower highs and lower lows. Just created the second lower low after this one, and the lowest price action on the weekly since February 12. You've been building strong negative momentum on the MACD histogram. You're actually building negative Momo on this week too, and you are at the 48-point level on the RSI. So you're neutral as for now, but you do want to see here this low hold, because you might have an harmonic here, an inverted potential harmonic it would be a bearish bat all the way to the 886 at around there. So if you're actually able to hold this low here, you will be looking at potentially a 83 point level pattern completion zone for this bearish bat if you actually get it. But for that, you will need to hold this low here at the 48 point level in the RSI. And also, I think the weekly is really important because we talked about the Bollinger Band here as being compressed. You can see volatility has been diminishing since July 8th. This whole price range has been compressing, and this ultimately will end up in a major expansion and some volatility, price action, either to the upside or to the downside. But I do want to speculate that this is going to be to the upside, because you came back down and you had a failed breakdown here. You actually recovered price, came back up, had a weekly close above it, and now you're holding price above the lower band here, and you're also still compressing on the price action. So you just need to do what happened here on August of last year. Just you had this somewhat of a bearish breakdown, a false bearish breakdown. You held price, you just grinded close to the lower band, and then you just broke out of this volatility decrease and this contraction on the Bollinger Band, which ultimately led to this expansion to the upside. So that's what I'm hoping for on the weekly time frame. So I hope that you enjoyed this new video, Chad. This valuation of stocks against BTC. If you did, please remind you guys to leave me a thumbs up, a comment on what you would like to see. I go live every day, Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. I do a live stream on crypto price and TA. And thanks for tuning in. You guys rock.